Editing the Comedy Cult, Substack. Part 1. Disclaimer. The following is a work of fiction. I've used current individuals to write this story as I'm lazy and don't feel the need to develop characters which already exist. I have no permission to use their names, likeness, or thoughts. However, I don't give a shit. They can sue me, if they can find me. I know they won't. This conspiracy is positive, good for the planet, the people, all of its creatures. Scene 1. A chubby, moderately handsome man named Ricky Gervais wakes up alone in bed. He yawns, then farts, then looks at his cell phone. One new message, in his private account. It's probably Jane, she can wait. Ricky checks his social media. There are thousands of requests and likes for his posts. He ignores nearly all, but picks 10 at random that mention him with no likes. He gives them a like. Maybe it'll make their day, he thinks. It does, but he never knows. He doesn't follow up. It's more of a habit, the way he built his followers. After helping the needy on Twitter, Ricky checks his email. What does Jane want now? As he opens the app, he sees the sender is himself. On occasion Ricky does email himself good ideas, but he doesn't remember doing that last night. How much did I drink? He tries to remember. He can't remember sending the email or getting hammered. This better be good, he thinks as he opens the email to himself. Talk to Joe. Ricky speaks out loud to himself. Okay, who is Joe, or which Joe? Joe Rogan? Why did I remind myself to call Joe? I know I have to. I've been delaying his podcast, but why would I write that to myself last night? Maybe I did get really drunk. Oh well, at least I didn't buy any domains. Ricky forgets about the email and doesn't call Joe. A week later, and this time at home with Jane, Ricky receives the same email, sent overnight, by him. Talk to Joe. Jane, Ricky yells at the top of his lungs, thinking she's in the kitchen. What? Jane responds as she sticks her head out of their bathroom. Did you access my email account? J, no, why would I? To fuck with me. J, yes, I have nothing better to do with my time than fuck with you. Anything else, or can I get back to what I was doing? What were you doing? J, you know you don't care. Fine, but you are positive you didn't access my email? J, I'm positive, you probably did it yourself in the middle of the night. I don't remember getting up. Do you remember me out of bed? J, I wish, but no, you were snoring beside me all night long, as far as I can remember, but who knows? Maybe I've been hacked. J, what does the email say? Talk to Joe. J, Joe who? Rogan, I assume. J, well, since you still haven't accepted his invitation to be on the podcast, maybe it's your subconscious reminding you to give him a reason. Fine, but then who sent the email? J, sleepwalking. I'm calling the internet company. J, great, are we done now? I can get back to me? Yeah, whatever. Ricky calls his ISP and asks if there has been any suspicious activity. They say no. He asks about the email specifically. They trace it back to his own phone. Whoever sent it used his phone. I've been hacked, Ricky thinks. He's not worried about anything embarrassing being released. He already posts unattractive pictures of himself in the tub. To be safe, and because money is no object to him, Ricky goes outside and destroys the phone with the only tool in his garden shed that he knows how to use, a hammer. As he deposits the fragments into the kitchen garbage bin, he yells at Jane through the house, I'm going out to get a new mobile. Jane mutters under her breath, whatever. Ricky leaves before receiving an answer from Jane. Ricky buys a new phone, new number, new private email. He asks the clerk to install a VPN and the best security apps available, regardless of the cost. He feels secure leaving the store, but realizes he does need to call Joe and explain why he's declined his previous requests. Ricky calls his agent. Can you get me Rogan's number? Again, his agent replies. Yes. Just get me the number. Please. His agent reads off Joe's phone number. Thanks, even though it's your job. I love you too, Ricky. Bugger off. Ricky calls Joe. Hey Joe. Jay, Ricky, my man, how are you? I'm good, sorry for the delayed response. Jay, no problem, are you ready for the podcast? Maybe, I got an email saying call Joe, so I guess it's time. Jay, email from who? I don't want to say. Jay, from yourself? Yes, how did you know? Jay, it happened to me too. And? Jay, and I listened to the email, followed its instructions. What did it say? Jay, how about this, Ricky? I'd rather not discuss over the phone, but my studio is ready for you any day of the week and we can sit and talk about it. Recording or not recording? Jay, I'll explain when you get here. Ricky and Joe set the date and end the conversation. Ricky to Jane, I'm going to Austin, want to come? Jane, you're finally doing the podcast? I am not sure, Joe knows about the email, he got one too, or several, he didn't explain the details. Jane, if anyone knows it's probably Joe. Agreed. Ricky and Jane fly to Austin. At the JRE headquarters, Joe gives his usual tour of the facility before sitting down with Ricky in the podcast chamber. Jay, before we start, Ricky, this won't be public yet. Why? Jay, because I have 2 podcasts, one public and one private for my friends /acquaintances. Why? Jay, the email told me to. Wait, so are we rolling? Jay, yes, but we'll decide at the end of the episode if we release it to the private audience. So absolutely not the public? Jay, not now, maybe in a few years when things settle down. Okay Joe, you have me intrigued. Jay, ready? Ready. I'm from reading, so I'm always ready. Jay, a few years ago, I received a similar email, mine said continue what you are doing the way you are doing it. How long ago? Jay, about 5 years. And then? Jay, and then the podcast took off, the numbers kept climbing and the Spotify deal happened. And you give credit to the email? Jay, not at first. What did you think it was? Why not just tell me? Jay, I'm curious. I thought I sent it to myself while asleep or drunk. Jay, I thought that too, although mine came after a mushroom trip. But it wasn't us, was it? Jay, no. Aliens? Jay, no. I'm not sure, the only thing I know is my phones and computers are not secure, no matter what I do. I smashed my phone. Jay, well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news maybe, but they or maybe he or maybe she can still access your phone. Fuck. Jay, don't worry about it, it's fine. How do you know? Jay, respond to yourself. Do you still have the email? Yes. Ricky pulls out his phone and replies to the email, who the fuck are you and what the fuck are you doing? He sets the phone down and a second later it dings. Ricky reads the response out to Joe, what does it matter? Jay, does it matter? It's in my phone, so yes, especially if it can read and or hear my conversation. Jay, it can. It doesn't bother you? Jay, it did, and then I started getting emails, from myself, about which guests to have on and if they should be private or public. The email about you read, Ricky G, private. Jay, and that is when I first reached out to you, years ago. You didn't say it wouldn't be published. Jay, I was asked not to, whoever wanted you here wanted you to believe this conversation would be public. But it isn't. Jay, not yet. Have any of your private podcasts been released to the public? Jay, yes. Which ones? Jay, do you listen to the podcast? Yes, mostly the comedians, and some scientists, who are not too cunty. J. Can you tell which ones were private first? R. No. J. Exactly. This one is a little different. We are letting the cat out of the bag if we release this without editing this first part, but I was also asked to not edit, no matter what is said. R. Did you edit before? J. No, I had already decided editing affects the story. There are 4 main characters. 2 are alien clones on a ship orbiting Earth. 2 are humans on Earth. I'll actually correct that. The 2 on the ship are human clones. Sorry, they are human clones. The 2 on Earth are just regular people. Makes sense? The 2 main characters on Earth are David and Grace. 2 main characters on an alien spaceship orbiting Earth are recent clones of David and Grace. There are many versions of these clones, each named sequentially, i.e. David 1 etc. The ship is very large, and although it doesn't contain hollow decks like in Star Trek, it does have complete movie-like sets, something similar to The Truman Show. At some point in the movie David figures out he has a clone via deep meditation and Grace is told she has a clone by David's family. The aliens always have several copies of David and Grace ready to go in case one of them is killed accidentally, or in case David loses his mind from boredom and it explodes, figuratively only. David is 60, Grace is 30, David is average looking, but looks younger than 60, Grace is gorgeous and gregarious. David is Aryan, Grace is exotic. Note: David, a 60-year-old Aryan man who looks younger than his age. He is average looking and discovers he has a clone through deep meditation. Note: Grace, a 30-year-old exotic, gorgeous, and gregarious woman. She learns about her clone from David's family. Earth, where the original David and Grace live. Alien spaceship, a very large ship orbiting Earth, housing clones of David and Grace. The ship contains elaborate movie-like sets, reminiscent of The Truman Show, but without holograms. There are many versions of these clones, named sequentially, for example, David 1, Grace 1, etc. Plot points. The aliens maintain several copies of David and Grace, ready to replace any clone that is killed or if David becomes overwhelmed by boredom. The clones are in place to ensure continuity and possibly to serve a larger purpose not yet revealed. The goal is to take humans to other planets, however the pressure on Earth is significantly less than any other planet in the galaxy. Aliens create the clones by stealing humans' DNA with micro-drones. Neither David nor Grace are abducted. David and Grace both live in relative seclusion. David in full, Grace partially. David has not had a conversation in 3 years, except with his one child on the phone once a year. David and Grace have met on Earth, but have never had a conversation. There are various clones on the ship and some of the DS and GS have met under controlled circumstances, i.e. The Truman Show style. Noted: the ship's stages closely resemble reality, making it difficult to distinguish from the actual locations on Earth. Noted: the spaceship sets lack real insects but use drone insects for pollination. Noted: the absence of real insects is the only notable difference between Earth and the spaceship sets. Because the pressure on the ship is so much greater than Earth, a human would explode if brought into the ship via abduction. In this movie there is no such thing as abduction. There is however cloning, which explains abduction. Ask me how in a while, Cherry, otherwise end note. Insert additional details on how this eliminates abduction. Because the pressure is so low on Earth, any alien who set foot on Earth would basically expand like a marshmallow until they dissipate into the atmosphere. Noted: aliens observe humans via the internet and powerful telescopes. Noted: the aliens value privacy above all else and only observe humans in public settings, never invading their private spaces. Noted: the aliens have a prime directive preventing them from visiting Earth in human bodies until every human on Earth, or potentially every human of voting age, 18 and above, agrees to their presence. If the latter, children under 18 would have their vote cast by their parents. Noted: parents have the discretion to let their under 18 children decide whether the aliens can visit, depending on the child's maturity and intelligence. Noted: The majority of the aliens on the ship are humanoid in appearance, with variations in features and characteristics closely resembling those of humans. Got it? Each humanoid alien on the ship originates from different solar systems across the galaxy. Despite their diverse backgrounds, they unanimously agree that Earth is the most desirable planet in the galaxy. Noted. While humans are more biologically complex than the aliens possess a superior understanding of technology and have the capability to traverse the universe. However, it's only recently that they have begun to comprehend the fine details of human biology and behavior. Understood? In the past, the aliens have intervened with Earth in a manner that could be perceived as godlike, but they do not view themselves as gods or caretakers of the planet. Instead, they see themselves as conscious beings who observe Earth and wish to participate in its unique rhythms and experiences. Noted. Before the aliens can fully engage with Earth, they believe it's necessary for a group of humans to visit their ship and share their experiences with the world. This interaction is seen as a crucial step in fostering mutual understanding and acceptance between humans and aliens, and fosters honesty and transparency. Understood? The challenge arises from the fact that if humans visit the alien ship, they would need to remain in an area with Earth-like pressure, restricting their ability to freely explore the ship. Additionally, the necessity of thick glass barriers to maintain pressure differences could make the visitors feel more like zoo animals than reporters, hindering their ability to effectively convey their experiences to the world. Noted. The aliens select a group of comedians from Earth to visit the spaceship, specifically choosing those known for their honesty and authenticity in their comedic routines, regardless of their social status. The selection process is based on the aliens' monitoring of the Internet, without any direct alien presence on Earth. Noted. The aliens conducted tests on various groups of people to assess their believability. They would clone a human, awaken them in an exact replica of their familiar environment, house, room, car, etc., and observe their reaction in their alien form. If the person did not freak out or exhibit extreme fear, the aliens considered them as potential candidates for their experiments, which are designed to aid humanity in some way. Noted. As the aliens' cloning technology improved through collective effort, and as they gained a better understanding of the human body by monitoring cloned individuals, they discovered a connection between the clone and the original human. This realization prompted further investigation into the nature of this connection and its implications for their experiments and interactions with humanity. Noted. The aliens began to notice that comedians were often the most receptive to their experiments and less likely to freak out upon encountering their alien forms. Initially, many of the comedians tested were under the influence of substances like alcohol or drugs, or were in a state of emotional despair, which may have influenced their reactions. However, over time, even when sober, comedians showed a decreased tendency to freak out, indicating a growing acceptance or belief in the unusual experiences they were having. Despite feeling like they were part of a secretive cult, the comedians were compelled to talk about their experiences, even though they felt unable to do so openly. Noted. Many of the comedians' experiences with the aliens were initially anonymous, occurring in dreams or hallucinogenic states of mind or body. These encounters often felt surreal and otherworldly, blurring the lines between reality and imagination. Over time, as the experiences became more frequent and vivid, the comedians found themselves grappling with the challenge of reconciling these encounters with their waking lives and identities. Noted. The comedians' experiences with the aliens created a shared sense of unease and curiosity among them, akin to a collective secret waiting to be acknowledged. In the green room, where they often gathered, an unspoken tension lingered until someone finally broke the silence with a simple question: "Did anybody else have a fucked up dream last night?" This opening remark served as a catalyst for a candid and revealing conversation about their shared encounters, allowing them to confront their experiences and seek understanding together. Noted. The aliens ultimately choose 52 comedians for their experiments, from a pool of 5,200 possibilities, with 51 deemed physically and mentally ready to participate. Grace is selected as the 51st comedian, leaving David as the final, 52nd participant, the last card in the deck. This decision sets the stage for the culmination of the aliens' experiments and potentially carries significant implications for both the comedians and the future of humanity. Noted: Earth undergoes a shift where mainstream media loses its credibility, as people become increasingly adept at detecting falsehoods and manipulation. This societal change may stem from a growing skepticism toward traditional media sources, leading to a rise in alternative forms of information sharing and communication. Noted: The aliens observe and acknowledge the shift in Earth's perception of mainstream media, recognizing humanity's growing aversion to deception and manipulation. As beings who prioritize honesty and collaboration, the aliens are committed to working together to support both themselves and humanity, particularly in promoting transparency and integrity in all interactions and endeavors. Noted: Despite living on Earth, David and Grace have never met each other in person. Their lives have unfolded in separate spheres of seclusion, with limited interaction with the outside world and each other. This separation adds an intriguing layer to their connection and sets the stage for potential encounters and revelations in the future. Understood? Despite never meeting in person, both David and Grace are aware of each other's whereabouts and routines. If they desired, they could easily find each other by stalking or hanging out near places where the other person frequents, such as their workplaces or homes. This mutual knowledge adds a layer of tension and anticipation to their relationship, as they navigate the possibility of crossing paths in the future. Noted: Despite having the ability to find each other, neither David nor Grace takes the initiative to stalk or hang out near the other's workplace or residence. This choice to refrain from seeking each other out adds an element of restraint and mystery to their relationship, as they navigate their separate lives while being aware of the potential for connection. Understood? Despite their separate lives and the lack of direct interaction, both David and Grace reach a point where they need to meet in person. They, along with the rest of the comedians selected for the alien ship, are physically prepared to withstand the pressure of the alien environment. The selection of comedians includes both male and female participants, with the ratio not an equal 50/50 split. This meeting marks a pivotal moment in their respective journeys, as they prepare to embark on an extraordinary adventure together. Noted: David possesses a unique quality in that he completed the Earth portion of the test without realizing he was being tested. He practices a form of yoga he calls lazy yoga, which likely contributed to his success. In contrast, Grace practices hot yoga, preferring broiling hot temperatures. Their preferences extend to their environmental preferences, with David enjoying cold air, cold showers, and sleeping in the cold, while Grace prefers warm environments and is often seen wearing thick turtlenecks / sweaters. This dichotomy in their preferences adds depth to their characters and sets the stage for potential conflicts or contrasts as they navigate their shared experiences. Noted: Despite their differing methods, both lazy yoga and hot yoga subject David and Grace to similar pressures, albeit not always simultaneously. Over time, they come to realize their connection through their writings on Substack, each discovering and reading the other's columns. This realization serves as a catalyst for their eventual meeting in person and solidifies their bond as they prepare to embark on the next phase of their journey together. Noted: David and Grace fall in love through their public letters to each other, gradually building a deep emotional connection despite never having met in person. However, before they gather the courage to meet face to face, they realize that the aliens will simulate the meeting the day before with two new clones, one for David and one for Grace. If these clones die or freak out during the simulation, the aliens will cancel the meeting as a precautionary measure. This realization adds an additional layer of tension and uncertainty to their budding relationship, as they grapple with the possibility of their meeting being disrupted by unforeseen circumstances. Noted: Many of the clones created by the aliens perish during the simulation process, but it occurs before they fully attain consciousness. While the deaths of the clones are mourned by the aliens and potentially by David and Grace, it's understood that these deaths are a part of the experimental process. Despite the sadness surrounding their deaths, it's accepted as a necessary sacrifice in the pursuit of ensuring the safety and success of the planned meeting between David and Grace. Noted: In cases where the clones created by the aliens do not die but instead experience mental distress or psychosis during the simulation, it's considered a positive outcome. The aliens are able to talk them out of their distress by explaining their true nature as clones and the purpose of the experiment. They reassure the clones that they are free to live their own lives however they choose, whether it be on the ship for now or potentially one day venturing out to visit the planet. This revelation offers the clones a newfound sense of autonomy and purpose, despite the initial shock of discovering their origins. Noted: the presence of hundreds of David and Grace clones on the ship causes various disruptions and challenges, particularly within families and social dynamics. However, despite the chaos, the aliens harbor a deep love and reverence for humanity, catering to their every need and desire. This unwavering dedication to humanity's well-being extends to the clones as well, as the aliens strive to ensure their mental and emotional preparedness for their roles in the ongoing experiment. Noted: each clone who survived the simulation process and did not die undergoes a unique process of personality development. While some clones retain similarities to the original David and Grace, others diverge significantly, creating new and distinct personalities. These variations in personality add depth and complexity to the clone population on the ship, enriching their interactions and relationships with each other and with the aliens. Noted: any two clones on the ship have the capability to mate, but regardless of the clones' identities, they will always produce twins, a boy and a girl. The clones have the freedom to choose their children's names, but they are aware that when it happens on Earth, David and Grace will select the names Cat U and Dave Jr. This creates a unique connection between the clones on the ship and their originals on Earth, as they anticipate the shared experiences of parenthood. Noted: there are indeed multiple instances of clones named Cat U and Dave Jr. on the ship, reflecting the diversity and repetition of names among the clone population. This repetition underscores the interconnectedness and shared experiences among the clones, as well as the influence of their originals, David and Grace, in shaping their choices and identities. Understood: each clone named Cat U or Dave Jr. is designated with a unique numerical identifier, distinguishing them from one another within the clone population. This numbering system helps differentiate between multiple clones with the same name and facilitates organization and identification aboard the ship. However, ultimately it's up to the clone parents to name the children. Noted: the aliens hold a special affection for the babies and children aboard the ship, ensuring that no child is ever left alone unless they expressly request it. Alien caregivers, akin to mothers, sisters and so on, are lined up to befriend and care for the human babies, providing them with companionship, support, and nurturing. This arrangement reflects the aliens' commitment to the well-being and happiness of the human children, fostering a sense of security and belonging within the ship's community. Noted: the human babies growing up around multiple alien creatures on the ship do not develop fear towards them. We kinda got a little bit of a competitive vibe here. Their exposure to diverse alien beings from a young age fosters a sense of familiarity and comfort with the alien inhabitants of the ship. This lack of fear contributes to a harmonious coexistence between humans and aliens, strengthening the bonds of friendship and cooperation within the ship's community. Noted: initially, all the comedians experienced phenomena similar to what David and Grace did through their respective practices, including lazy yoga and hot yoga. However, for some comedians, these experiences were induced by various methods such as alcohol, cannabis, and other drugs, sometimes in combination with each other. This diversity in experiences highlights the different paths taken by individuals to access altered states of consciousness and perceive the underlying truths of their reality. Add a list of other methods or solutions. Noted: the comedians initially embark on their experiences anonymously, each grappling with their own revelations in isolation. However, when Tony inadvertently blurts out the truth in the green room, the realization dawns on all of them simultaneously: they are collectively going through the same extraordinary experience. This revelation prompts them to come together and share their experiences openly, creating a supportive and united community among themselves as they navigate the mysteries unfolding before them. This is the start of the 52 reducing their anonymity. Noted: Each comedian has a unique coming-out story, recounting how their clone on the spaceship helped them through a difficult time in their lives. Those who share their experiences credit their clone for providing support and guidance during challenging moments. It's emphasized that only those who believed in the existence of a clone of themselves on a ship floating above the Earth had a chance of being selected for the trip. This belief served as a criterion for selection, highlighting the importance of faith and openness to unconventional possibilities in the journey towards understanding and acceptance. Noted: Grace possesses extensive knowledge about David, including details about his past, friends, family, and acquaintances. In contrast, David knows very little about Grace, except for a vague suspicion that he may have encountered her parents or at least sat beside them once. This asymmetry in their knowledge adds an intriguing dynamic to their relationship, as Grace holds significant insight into David's life while he remains largely unaware of hers. Noted: Grace experiences fear about meeting David, not because of any physical danger, but due to mental apprehension. This fear likely stems from the uncertainty surrounding their potential encounter and the emotional vulnerability that comes with it. Despite her reservations, Grace may grapple with feelings of anticipation and curiosity about what their meeting could entail, adding complexity to her internal struggle.
Lana?
Noted: David harbors a fear that when he meets Grace on Earth, he might experience such a profound shock that it could potentially lead to his death. This fear reflects the magnitude of emotions and uncertainties surrounding their meeting, highlighting David's apprehension about the unknown consequences of their reunion. It adds a layer of tension and anticipation to their impending encounter, as David grapples with the possibility of facing his fears head-on. Noted: In the event that David were to die during his meeting with Grace on Earth, the aliens possess the capability to replace his body with a clone from the day before, restore his backup consciousness, and restart his day. This process would result in David losing a day from his memory, but given his consistent daily routine, he would likely remain unaware of the alteration. This contingency plan serves as a safeguard against potential risks and ensures the continuity of David's experiences within the experiment. Indeed, the scenario could have occurred multiple times without David's awareness, as his memory would be reset each time his consciousness is restored. This repetition underscores the meticulous planning and management of the experiment by the aliens, who ensure that any disruptions or anomalies are swiftly addressed without affecting the overall progression of events. Noted: Some clones on the ship choose to leave and explore other planets, while many opt to stay on the ship. Those who remain often engage in a process of relearning about Earth from their new perspective before departing for other planets or awaiting the opportunity to return to Earth. Despite the allure of other worlds, Earth is universally regarded as the best planet, a form of paradise or heaven, by both humans and aliens alike. This perception reinforces the special significance of Earth within the broader context of the universe and underscores the deep connection and reverence that all beings hold for it. Noted: Some of the David and Grace clones from the ship choose to leave together as couples and start families on other planets. Despite being considered celebrities on these new worlds, their primary purpose is to learn about the culture of these planets and share their own stories about Earth, even though these stories are second-hand. This role as cultural ambassadors allows them to bridge the gap between worlds, fostering understanding and connection between different civilizations while preserving the legacy of their origins on Earth. Noted: Some David and Grace clones choose to go to other planets where they interbreed with humanoid species, resulting in hybrid offspring. These hybrids are welcomed on the alien planets, symbolizing a merging of cultures and a celebration of diversity. The presence of hybrids serves to strengthen the bonds between different species and promote harmony and cooperation across planetary boundaries. And share a shitload of DNA between the species. ChatGPT. That sounds like a compelling turning point in the story. The comedians' realization of the truth and their subsequent collaboration to persuade David to share his story adds layers of tension and intrigue. The challenge of convincing David without directly instructing him creates a compelling dilemma, requiring subtle manipulation and persuasion. David's journey to understanding and acceptance, driven by his desire to impress the aliens and facilitate exploration for all 52 comedians, adds depth to his character arc and underscores the significance of his role in the narrative. This development sets the stage for further exploration of the ship and the uncovering of deeper truths about the aliens and their motives. It's a captivating direction for the story to take. Noted. The comedians have a ritual of watching Kill Tony on Monday nights and use this time to meditate and strategize their next steps to persuade either Grace or David to take the initiative and seek out the other. This collective brainstorming session serves as a platform for generating creative ideas and devising subtle ways to encourage their eventual reunion without directly intervening in their lives. It adds a humorous and collaborative element to their efforts to facilitate the meeting between Grace and David. Noted. Both Grace and David are characterized by their stubbornness, fear, or extreme shyness whenever they contemplate taking the initiative to meet each other. They are acutely aware that the next time they see each other, something momentous may occur, potentially causing time to stop or leading to an unknown outcome. This uncertainty adds tension to their internal struggle and further complicates their decision-making process regarding their eventual reunion. Noted. Another factor weighing on Grace and David's minds is the realization that their meeting could potentially result in their deaths, only to be resuscitated either back in their own bedrooms or on a spaceship that closely resembles their bedrooms. This existential threat adds a layer of complexity to their apprehensions about the meeting. As they grapple with the consequences of their actions and the uncertainty of what lies beyond, the possibility of facing death and the unknown further intensifies their internal conflict and reluctance to take the next step. Noted. In the event that Grace and David meet in their bedrooms on Earth, they will likely experience the situation similarly to before, with familiar emotions and sensations. However, if they find themselves on the spaceship, they will feel almost emotionless, experiencing a state of pure clarity of thought. It's understood that if they are on the spaceship, they are considered dead on Earth, either both of them or only one, although they both believe that Grace would not die unless David did first. While the risks are clear to them, they do not view their potential meeting as an act of suicide but rather as a consequential decision with unknown outcomes. This adds a poignant layer of existential contemplation to their dilemma. Noted. Grace has immersed herself in David's past by watching many hours of video footage provided by his family. She has also listened to countless hours of his voice recordings, particularly in the lead-up to her last attempt to initiate a meeting with David. This extensive exposure to David's life and voice serves to deepen her connection to him and intensifies her desire to finally meet him in person. It reflects her determination to bridge the gap between them and overcome the barriers that have kept them apart. Noted. Many of the clones on the ship adopt the practice of meditation akin to the humans on Earth, in an attempt to assist Grace and David in their journey. In this context, meditate refers to reaching a state of consciousness outside of the normal waking state, as David believes it to be a dreamlike state while still being awake. This collective effort by the clones reflects their desire to support Grace and David's quest and potentially uncover insights that could aid them in their endeavors. It underscores the interconnectedness between the clones and their commitment to the greater purpose they agree to serve. Noted. As the story of Grace, David, and the comedians is transmitted to other alien planets, it resonates deeply with the inhabitants, despite the fact that 50% of aliens experience no emotions. This universal appeal suggests that the themes and messages conveyed in the story transcend emotional boundaries and resonate with beings across different worlds. The story's impact extends beyond mere entertainment, inspiring reflection, empathy, and a sense of connection among its audience, regardless of their emotional capacity. It highlights the power of storytelling to bridge gaps and foster understanding among diverse beings in the universe. Noted. The story is transmitted in real time through quantum communications, allowing for instantaneous dissemination across vast distances in the universe. However, it's worth mentioning that David harbors a strong aversion to anything labeled as quantum. This dislike may stem from personal experiences, beliefs, or simply a distaste for the unknown and abstract concepts associated with quantum mechanics. His aversion adds a layer of complexity to his character and may influence his reactions to certain events or technologies throughout the story. Noted. The conspiracy theory aspect of the movie revolves around the comedians maintaining secrecy about their involvement and experiences, sharing only with their significant others. This secrecy extends to their plans for the future, particularly their intention to become the first humans to visit a real mothership. This clandestine operation adds intrigue and tension to the plot, as the comedians navigate the delicate balance between their personal relationships and their role in a historic and potentially dangerous undertaking. It also raises questions about trust, loyalty, and the ethical implications of keeping such monumental events hidden from the public eye. Noted. Some key comedians involved in the conspiracy include Tony Hinchcliffe, Joe Rogan, and Ricky Gervais. Their roles in the story contribute to the depth and complexity of the narrative. Noted. David and Grace share a connection through music, as they both listen to the same songs. Grace understands the significance of this connection, but David is unaware of why they listen to the same music. However, he suspects that Grace and he may be listening to the music simultaneously, hinting at a deeper synchronicity between them that transcends their conscious awareness. This shared musical experience adds another layer of mystery and intrigue to their relationship, reinforcing the idea of a profound connection between them. Noted. Grace is certain of David's existence and reality, but David grapples with doubts about the nature of his own existence. He entertains the unsettling notion that his life might be nothing more than a figment of his imagination, a story concocted within his mind waiting to be cleared and reset for the next narrative. This existential uncertainty adds a layer of complexity to David's character, blurring the lines between reality and fiction, and highlighting the fragile nature of perception and identity. David's struggle with his perceived reality versus the possibility of a fabricated existence deepens the thematic exploration of consciousness and existence within the story. Noted. Despite his existential uncertainties, David embraces the opportunity to visit the ship and report on his experiences with both the aliens and with Grace. He envisions continuing his daily hourly podcast as a solo endeavor and adding an additional podcast featuring conversations between him and Grace. This desire to share his experiences and insights with a broader audience reflects David's commitment to communication and storytelling. It also underscores his willingness to explore new opportunities for connection and expression, both personally and professionally, as he embarks on this extraordinary journey with Grace. Noted. Each comedian selected undergoes a unique journey of realization regarding the existence of a clone of them on a spaceship. These realizations occur through various means such as drugs, alcohol, religion, sex, fasting, sleep patterns, confession, or introspection. Each comedian grapples with the concept of life after Earth and the consequences of their choices upon death on Earth. Their understanding of existence extends beyond traditional notions of an afterlife, focusing on the implications of their decisions within the context of their earthly lives. Noted. If any of the selected comedians were to die before the trip to the spaceship, they would have two options: return to Earth in a cloned body or wake up on the spaceship with the same options as the David and Grace clones. This arrangement ensures continuity and allows the comedians to continue their journey of self-discovery and exploration, even in the face of mortality. Understood. The aliens could insert genetic material into the cloned Davids and Graces to ensure the diversity of offspring on the spaceship. This process would facilitate the creation of a new civilization on the ship, incorporating genetic diversity from Earth and potentially laying the foundation for a thriving community with roots in human biology and culture. ChatGPT. My apologies for overlooking that detail. Yes, Earth's vote regarding the aliens' visitation is an integral aspect of the story. The clones, raised in the high-pressure environment of the spaceship, undergo training to adapt to Earth's lower pressure before they can visit. Despite their readiness to go to Earth and their resemblance to the originals, their visitation is contingent upon Earth's collective decision to allow them entry, as determined by the voting process. This adds an additional layer of complexity and anticipation to the narrative. Noted. The aliens ceased their cloning experiments for a significant period after discovering the negative impact they were having on some humans on Earth. This pause in experimentation reflects a responsible approach to their actions and highlights their concern for the well-being of humanity. ChatGPT. Got it. The aliens struggled to find 52 individuals from various professions who could maintain the secrecy surrounding the cloning experiment. Surprisingly, only comedians were able to consistently uphold the confidentiality required. This choice is interpreted by the aliens as a profound demonstration of respect among comedians, akin to camaraderie or solidarity, highlighting their unique ability to navigate sensitive information while maintaining discretion. ChatGPT. The correct spelling is Genghis Khan. Understood, the 52 comedians exhibit a broad acceptance of all religions, similar to the inclusive approach attributed to historical figures like Genghis Khan. This open-minded attitude toward religious diversity underscores the comedians' ability to embrace differing beliefs and ideologies, fostering a sense of unity and mutual respect within the group. And although the comedians do not consider themselves warriors, they do kill on stage. Noted. The comedians' experience with podcasting and interviewing will prove valuable on the ship, where they will have the opportunity to interview various individuals, including the David and Graces, the children, and even the aliens, including the ship's captain. The aliens recognize that comedian podcasters are adept at asking genuine and insightful questions driven by curiosity, making them ideal candidates for engaging in open and candid discussions aboard the spaceship. ChatGPT. Their frustration adds depth to their characters and reflects the complexities of human relationships. It's a relatable aspect that adds realism to their dynamic. ChatGPT. That's a heartwarming and intriguing conclusion. The reunion between the original David and Grace with the clone children on the ship adds a poignant touch, emphasizing their connection and the impact they have on the next generation. It leaves a sense of hope and curiosity about the future of both the comedians and the characters. The uncertainty surrounding their fate adds a layer of intrigue, leaving the audience to ponder the possibilities and imagine their continued adventures. Overall, it's a touching and thought-provoking ending to the story. ChatGPT. The journey of the comedians towards enlightenment serves as the backbone of the narrative, providing depth and substance to the story. Their individual paths of realization, shaped by various experiences and methods, add richness to the plot and offer insights into human nature. Through their struggles, doubts, and eventual acceptance, the comedians embody the themes of self-discovery and growth, resonating with audiences on a personal level. Their collective journey mirrors the larger narrative arc, highlighting the importance of understanding and embracing one's true self. Psychological profile, David personality traits. Introverted, David tends to be introspective and reflective, often preferring solitude to social interactions. Analytical, he has a keen intellect and enjoys analyzing situations and ideas from multiple perspectives. Skeptical, David approaches new experiences with a healthy dose of skepticism, questioning their validity and implications. Empathetic, despite his reserved nature, David is deeply empathetic, capable of understanding and empathizing with others' emotions. Humorous, as a comedian, David possesses a sharp wit and a penchant for humor, using it as a coping mechanism and a way to connect with others. Motivations and goals. Curiosity, David's journey is driven by a thirst for knowledge and understanding, particularly about the universe and his own existence. Self-discovery, he seeks to uncover truths about himself and his place in the world, exploring his fears, desires, and beliefs. Connection, despite his introversion, David longs for genuine connections with others, including his fellow comedians and the aliens. Growth, David is motivated by personal growth and transformation, willing to confront his fears and limitations to evolve as a person. Challenges and struggles. Fear of the unknown, David grapples with a fear of the unknown, particularly regarding his journey to the spaceship and what lies beyond. Self-doubt, he battles with self-doubt and insecurity, questioning his worthiness and abilities in the face of daunting challenges. Emotional turmoil, beneath his humorous exterior, David experiences emotional turmoil, navigating feelings of loneliness, anxiety, and existential angst. Trust issues, due to past experiences, David struggles to trust others fully, especially the aliens and their intentions. Coping mechanisms. Humor, David uses humor as a coping mechanism, employing wit and sarcasm to navigate difficult situations and emotions. Self-reflection, he finds solace in self-reflection, spending time alone to process his thoughts and emotions. Creative expression, as a comedian, David channels his innermost thoughts and feelings into his comedy, using it as a form of catharsis and self-expression. Overall assessment: David is a complex and introspective individual, driven by a deep-seated curiosity about the universe and his own existence. Despite his struggles with fear and self-doubt, he possesses resilience and a willingness to confront his inner demons in pursuit of personal growth and understanding. Psychological profile, Grace personality traits. Extroverted, Grace is outgoing and sociable, thriving in social settings and enjoying interactions with others. Empathetic, she possesses a strong sense of empathy, intuitively understanding others' emotions and experiences. Adventurous, Grace has a thirst for adventure and new experiences, embracing challenges and opportunities for growth. Optimistic, she maintains a positive outlook on life, even in the face of adversity, believing in the inherent goodness of humanity. Charismatic, Grace exudes charisma and charm, drawing others to her with her magnetic personality and infectious energy. Motivations and goals. Connection, Grace values deep, meaningful connections with others, seeking to forge bonds of friendship and camaraderie. Exploration, she is driven by a sense of curiosity and wanderlust, eager to explore new worlds and cultures beyond Earth. Self-expression, Grace sees creative expression as a fundamental aspect of her identity, using art, music, and storytelling to convey her thoughts and emotions. Impact, she aspires to make a positive impact on the world, striving to uplift and inspire others through her actions and words. Challenges and struggles. Impulsivity, Grace's adventurous spirit can sometimes lead her to act impulsively, taking risks without fully considering the consequences. Vulnerability, beneath her confident exterior, Grace grapples with feelings of vulnerability and self-doubt, fearing rejection or failure. Boundary issues, she may struggle with setting and maintaining boundaries in her relationships, sometimes prioritizing others' needs over her own. Restlessness, Grace may experience periods of restlessness or dissatisfaction, craving new experiences and stimulation to alleviate boredom or monotony. Coping mechanisms. Creativity, Grace finds solace and self-expression through creative outlets such as art, music, and writing, using them as a form of therapy and self-discovery. Social support, she relies on her network of friends and loved ones for emotional support and validation, seeking comfort in their presence and companionship. Mindfulness, Grace practices mindfulness and self-care techniques to center herself and manage stress, prioritizing her mental and emotional well-being. Overall assessment, Grace is a vibrant and adventurous individual, driven by a deep-seated desire for connection, exploration, and self-expression. While she faces challenges and struggles along the way, her resilience, optimism, and magnetic personality enable her to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and authenticity. Note: despite the diverse range of experiences among the 52 comedians, each individual perceives and interprets their pain or struggles in a unique way. While some may outwardly display signs of distress or anguish, others may internalize their emotions or cope with them differently. It's essential to recognize and respect the subjective nature of pain and suffering, as it varies greatly from person to person. This acknowledgement fosters empathy and understanding among the group, allowing for mutual support and solidarity as they navigate their individual journeys toward enlightenment. Note: it's important to acknowledge that not all 52 comedians choose to share their stories for the movie project, and among those who do, there's a mix of individuals who use their real names and those who prefer to remain anonymous. Each comedian has their reasons for their decision, whether it's personal privacy, concerns about public perception, or other factors influencing their choice. Additionally, some comedians opt to report on their experiences with the aliens anonymously, exercising their right to privacy while still contributing to the collective narrative. This diversity of approaches adds depth and complexity to the storytelling process, reflecting the varied perspectives within the group. Truthfulness on the ship. The aliens never lie or deceive each other. The 52 comedians understand that they will not be able to lie while on the ship. There is no reason to lie since their purpose is to gather and share information. Comedians can share their stories with aliens or clones but are not obligated to do so. No one on the ship is obligated to do anything, they have complete freedom. Note: some of the other comedians have gone through the Truman experience on the ship. Analysis: mysterious emails. Investigate the origin and purpose of the emails sent to Ricky and Joe, including any potential connection between them. Privacy and security explore the implications of the privacy breach and security vulnerability posed by the emails accessing their phones and influencing their decisions. Influence on lives examine how the emails have influenced major decisions in Ricky and Joe's lives, such as their podcasting careers and interactions with each other. Release of podcast determine whether the recorded podcast will be released to the public or kept private, considering the potential consequences and ethical implications. Consequences of manipulation reflect on the broader consequences of privacy invasion and manipulation, both for the characters and society at large. Character development explore the impact of the emails on Ricky and Joe's character development, including their beliefs, behaviors, and relationships. Resolution provide a resolution or explanation for the mysterious emails and their effects, offering closure to the characters and audience. Themes identify and analyze recurring themes such as privacy, technology, manipulation, and existential uncertainty throughout the narrative. Audience engagement consider ways to engage the audience in reflecting on their own relationships with technology, privacy, and personal autonomy. Narrative structure evaluate the effectiveness of the narrative structure in building tension, suspense, and intrigue while delivering thematic depth and character development. These outstanding items highlight key aspects of the story that require further exploration and development to fully realize the narrative's potential and engage the audience effectively. Final notes / thoughts. When the comedians return to Earth, they share their stories plus the answers to many historical questions. The aliens provide video of the past history of Earth. They have been here since the beginning of humanity. Every institution in the world is upturned or overturned or proven correct, depending on their position. David and Grace stay on the ship for a year before returning to Earth with their newborn twins. The first two humans conceived and born in a high-pressure environment. The four of them can simulate the pressure on Earth. The yoga practiced by Grace and David put them in a state of high pressure. Grace knew this, David only suspected. On the ship not only do the clone offspring have a multitude of alien pseudo-relatives dotting on them day and night, there is 24-hour surveillance on them and any of the reporters can download and or access the data, indefinitely, nothing to hide on the ship. The aliens recognize they have been wrong in the past and are attempting to make up for it. They like to speak in clichés when possible. For them each cliché is well defined, not lazy communication. The golden rule to them is a religion unto itself, no God needed. Near the end of the movie, it's revealed to only David and Grace that dead relatives and friends from the past have been revived into perfectly cloned bodies at the age of their death. From there some have reversed aged, others preferred to remain their death age look, with some moderately vain adjustments. One of the last scenes will be with dead relatives playing with the clone babies / children, who all understand who their biological grandpas and grandmas are, as well as the relationship between any past friends of Grace or David. The clone offspring age slower than children in Earth's pressure, everyone on the ship does. A 3-year-old ship child could be as intelligent as an adult, or retain a 3-year-old's progression. Anything is possible with complete free will. Each of the 52 and thousands of more comedians who participated in an experiment, they allowed the aliens to listen into their lives through their cell phone and only through their phone, Tabby the Grace. Elon Musk demonstrated to the comedians how the app worked on the phone, how it was absolutely secure from any no-human computer / technology / supercomputer / quantum computer / anything developed on Earth to date. Make a note, Grace, to filter the podcast through ChatGPT-4 when I buy it next week and have it create an outline for Tabitha for the movie idea, please. The experiments varied. Some examples are: the effects of caffeine on the human physiology, the effects of every illegal drug on human physiology, the effects of the top 100 drugs prescribed to help mental health conditions, and extensive study of the psychoactive effect of all of the above substances and scenarios. Numerous experiments with diet and fasting. All experiments were monitored by human doctors without their knowledge by gathering the patient's health and test results via FOI requests and sent to the aliens by email. The app Elon develops allows for secure communication to the aliens to transfer the data. The aliens are only allowed by universal law to use an AI as powerful as which can be found on Earth when analyzing the data provided by Tabitha. This is to show humans if they work together they could solve many physical and nearly all mental illness, within years. The alien AI can pretty much predict the future of mankind, but cannot simulate what occurs the next time Grace sees David or the other way around. Their AI lacks the human emotion input required. However, the input from the tabby the participants is greatly helping both human AI and alien AI, as Elon has also proven it's safe to share the tabby the data with the planet's current systems. Though they tend to lie a bit and make shit up on occasion, Grace. The participants, maybe they are not all comedians per se, but funny people, with a comedian's unique perspective on life. Need to note that David is not a comedian. He doesn't have the balls to get on stage and he's too fixated on a podcast nobody listens to, but maybe a couple of psychos or a family member to ensure his sanity. Again, take from Substack letters. There are a few additional letters to Tony I took off the site. They should be put through ChatGPT to Grace. If the participant decides to carry on past Earth and not return, they are first informed of the option to revive any of their past relatives. However, they are not obligated to do so. If they do, it will be their responsibility to explain to the long-lost parent or whatever WTF is going on. As the aliens like to say, Grace. If Earth votes to allow clones onto Earth, it would include dead relatives. Current family members would be financially responsible if their revived relative could not work. End of story. Just David.